Welcome into Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Megan Payton, and an upsetting loss for the Seahawks against the Rams. We're going to break that down for you in a sec. But hey, if you want to eat away your sorrows and not feel guilty, go check out Magic Spoon, magicspoon.com/Seahawks. You are going to get $5 off your order today. The cereal is delicious and guilt-free. But the Seahawks lose to the Rams in what was a really important divisional game, 26-17, and it's just ultimately the defense wasn't there, and obviously Russell had to leave the game, and that's a big concern. But they're in a very competitive division, so games like this are really important. The Rams now have another win. Seahawks fall to 2-3, and that's not ideal when you're competing against guys like the Rams. You have the Cardinals, who are undefeated. So I don't know what's going to happen, but the main concern for the night is obviously Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson went out with what looked like a dislocated middle finger. He kind of jammed his finger up against Aaron Donald's hand. Not the first time that Aaron Donald has caused an injury for a guy. This happened similar with Drew Brees a couple years ago. So you know how rough it has to be for Russell Wilson not to play. He's a competitive guy. He's a competitive player. It takes a lot for him to go out. It had to be killing him to sit on the sidelines. And so, I do expect him to push through, kind of get back in there. I don't think it's going to be a long-term injury. I don't know. Pete Carroll's probably in the middle of his press conference right now, so we will have more updates for you later. But obviously, we are hoping that we don't have to see Russell Wilson miss any time, because right now, let's be honest, he's the saving grace to this Seahawks team. But before he did go out, he did have 11 for 16 completions. He had 131 yards, a touchdown, and he did have his first interception of the season, which is disappointing. But I'm telling you, the one thing that I really just am concerned about is if Wilson has to miss any time, what's going to happen? The defense isn't helping out, that's for sure. So now the offense is going to struggle. Geno Smith came in for Russell Wilson, and hey, he looked pretty good to start out. He had a great touchdown pass to DK Metcalf. So this is why it pays to have guys that are veterans in this league as your backup quarterback. So Geno Smith was impressive early on when he came in. He was 10 for 17, 131 yards, one touchdown, but he did kind of ruin it at the end, their kind of important drive that let them stay in it. He threw an interception. So I don't know. It seemed like obviously it was fast-paced, scrambling. So yes, we put some blame on Geno Smith, but what can you do? It's, to me, just overall very, very upsetting. I think that this is going to be a big problem for Seattle if we have to see Wilson miss some time. We'll keep you updated on that. And another injury that we were made aware of right before the game was running back Chris Carson. He's been dealing with a neck injury, and he was inactive for tonight's game. So we did see a lot of Alex Collins. We're going to talk about him, as well as some of the other positive things that did happen on the offensive side of the ball. But first, I want your one-word reaction to the Seahawks loss. Let it out. Say whatever you think, however you're feeling. Right now, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling frustrated because the defense isn't helping out. To me, it's just, I don't care. It shows. You could have Russell Wilson as your quarterback. You could have Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter. If your defense is struggling so bad, you're not going to win games. And it's still a major problem in the secondary. You could see DJ Reed. Yeah, he did maybe a little bit better, but they were just blowing coverage constantly. Sidney Jones, it was all right. To me, this is just a major problem. They did a lot of zone coverage that caused issues. You could see like on the left side. And I'm just not impressed right now. And you can't let a guy like Robert Woods completely outplay you, completely outcover you. And it's just, to me, the main weakest link of the Seahawks team. And I have to ask, what happened to Ryan Neal? I thought that I was under the impression that Pete Carroll was going to utilize him the same way in which he did last week, which seemed to, help improve the defense for sure. And we didn't see much of him at all. They went with Jordyn Brooks. They got burned. He got burned by Kupp a few times, and they didn't use Neal kind of as that nickel guy. They tried to a little bit towards the end there. We saw a touch in like the third quarter, but really Neal was absent most of the game. And that, to me, was my most impressive thing about the Seahawks defense last week? Well, they got rid of it completely. I don't know if that's a Ken Norton Jr. call, if that's a Pete Carroll call, but to me, that was a mistake. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it that we don't know. I'm blaming the defense as a whole for this game. I guess if we want to be specific, I'm definitely blaming the secondary. But who do you guys blame most for this loss? Go to the comments, call someone out right now. It is okay to be upset. I'm upset. This is, God, it was such an important game to win, and they did not win. So we're going to be talking about this, and this game is going to come back and haunt the Seahawks. I'm telling you that now. Playing at home Thursday night. The next time they face the Rams is going to be at SoFi Stadium. It was such an important game, and they couldn't figure it out. I will say Quandre Diggs, though, I'm talking bad about the secondary. He did look pretty good. He had an interception, which the Seahawks haven't had many this year. So good for him. He had a great pass breakup. I do like what we're seeing out of Diggs, but he can't do it all for this Seahawks defense. Darrell Taylor had a sack, and he looked pretty strong actually for coming in with an ankle injury. So again, we're not going to hate on the defense completely. We did see some positive things, but overall, it's a struggling team defensively. They've got to figure it out. I don't know if it's Ken Norton Jr. that has to figure it out, Pete Carroll, but the both of them have to come together and figure out a solution. I was telling you guys about a way that you can eat your sadness away. That is Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon has delicious cereal. They've got so many flavors, cocoa, frosted. I am eating the peanut butter right now. I love the peanut butter. Right after this is over, I am going to eat this, and it'll keep me full for the whole night. It has only 4 net grams of carbs. It has 13 grams of protein and no sugar. Go check it out right now. Go to magicspoon.com/Seahawks, and you are going to get $5 off of your order today. So another issue that I'm sorry, I know Jason Myers is a great player, but what is happening? Get it together. You cannot miss a 35-yard field goal. And now, no, would have that changed the game? Probably not. Obviously, they didn't lose by 3. They lost by much more. So sure. But Jason Myers is supposed to be an elite guy that you can trust to make those field goals easy. I don't know what's happening. Yes, he did, sure, redeem himself with the field goal later in the game, but this is a problem. Jason Myers needs to figure out what's happening. This isn't the first time we've seen this season, so there's got to be some changes from him. But we do have to mention another really unique situation on the special teams. That is Michael Dickson. He had what everyone, I think, was just completely blown away by. It was the blocked punt. He gets the ball back. He punts it again. I don't even know. Everyone's trying to figure out if this is legal or not, but he brings the Rams back to the 11-yard line. It was probably the most insane play of the game. So props to Dickson. He gets MVP in a losing game, in my opinion. Another guy that looked great with Russell and with Geno was DK Metcalf. He had 2 touchdowns today, 5 receptions, 98 yards. His long was 25. And I mean, hey, he had to go up against Jalen Ramsey a lot. And I think that he did pretty good at going up against such a strong guy like Jalen Ramsey. So impressed by DK. Really, I'm not too concerned about the Seahawks offense. Tyler Lockett, he didn't have any touchdowns today, but he did have 57 yards. He had 5 receptions. His long was 25. So receivers looking good. This is not an area of concern for me, but I do get concerned about the offense if Russell Wilson is going to be missing some time. Hoping that is not the case. But what is your confidence level in the offense if Russ does have to miss some time? Go to the comments right now. We're going to scale this from 1 to 10. I don't know. To me, we need to see more out of Geno to really know how confident we can be in him. But I'll tell you this, it's definitely not at a high number. If Russ, one of the most dominant quarterbacks in NFL history, if he goes out, misses some time, I am not super confident. I'd give it like a 4 right now, 5 maybe. Would need to see more out of Geno to give maybe a proper reaction. But get your scale numbers in right now. We're going to keep you updated all season long. We're going to have Russell Wilson injury updates for you, obviously, overreactions, everything Seahawks all season long. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you do not miss out on any Seahawks info. Next up is Alex Collins. Alex Collins, once it was announced that Chris Carson was not going to be playing, we got to see a lot of Collins. And, I said actually before this game, I said, hey, I like what we're seeing out of Collins. I hope the Seahawks utilize him more, and they were forced to. And he looked really good to me. He had 15 carries, 47 yards, 13 long. And to me, I'd say he did pretty good. Now, there was that fourth and 2 call that to me was, he got pushed back, lost a yard on that, but you're going up against Aaron Donald. What do you expect? I do like what we're seeing out of Alex Collins. Now, I do think the O-line does need some work. We talk about the offense looking great, but if there are areas that I would choose to improve, that would be the offensive line. They let Russell get sacked twice, so that's not ideal. He is, what's funny, the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. So that's obviously not a good stat to have on your record. But I'd like to see a little bit of improvement from this O-line. There's a lot of times where you see Russell have to scramble because he's just not getting that protection. So that would be an area of concern if we are talking about the offense. And, the Seahawks had to go up against one of the most dominant players, which is Jalen Ramsey. He had 4 tackles. He had 1 pass breakups, no interceptions. But, he's just always tough. If you're going up against Ramsey, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for guys like Lockett, guys like DK. I'd say they did pretty well, though, against him. So, again, offense is not a concern for me. When I look at this 26-17 loss, I'm saying the defense lost this game for us. I'm concerned about Russell, and I'm very concerned about the defense. So get your comments in, give me all of your reactions. But first, I do want you guys to grade the Seahawks performance against the Rams from A to F. If you think it was an absolute failure, give it an F. It's not an F to me. The offense looked great. Yes, the Russell Wilson injury is very concerning. The defense did not look great. I'm going to give them a C+. C+ for me. We'll see more about what Geno Smith's all about if Russell is going to be missing some time.